Happy lunch hour, gang. All right, for this one, we're going to go back to a prepper topic, not be a news topic. But a couple of years ago, I did a video on 10 uses for these empty cardboard boxes. We all get them. Amazon, Walmart, wherever the hell you're buying from, stuff that you go to the store, all comes in cardboard, right? Why? It's a great material. It can hold up a lot of weight. I mean, think of all these generators I deal with all the time. I mean, they're 100 pounds. They're in a cardboard box because the cardboard can hold the weight. They're very practical for tons of uses, okay? And like I said, I gave you 10 a couple of years ago. I'll link that below in case you're relatively new here. But I'm going to give you 10 more today of things that I've come up with as good ideas for them, or that are known ideas, but maybe you've never even thought of it. All right, so regular cardboard box. This one isn't even that big, but it's a really good size to keep. I know everybody always says, gee, you got to keep the big ones because, as I said, killing weeds or whatever, doing it with boxes this size sucks. But, you know, furniture boxes or TV boxes or something are great for that. But I'll look at some of the stuff that you can save the smaller boxes for. First one, anybody out there who's a medic or an EMT or did time in the military knows one of the best things cardboard can be used for in a bad situation is as a splint. You can break this down, roll it up tight, and as long as it's not too long, and this one's about 18 inches, which would be about a perfect size, you can now strap that to somebody's broken leg, their broken arm, or whatever it is, and that'll keep them stable until you can get them to medical assistance. Simple stuff, right? You know, people may say, well, I can use a stick for that. Sure, unless you live in, you know, the forest like me, it's great. You live in Iowa, Nebraska, and it's cornfields everywhere. Corn stalk's not going to work too good as a splint. Cardboard will. Okay. Number 2. Let's imagine it's an SHTF situation, and sorry, you're not going to be able to go to Walmart or the shoe store or buy a new pair of shoes however many times a year you do. Trace your shoe out in a piece of cardboard. Now you've got shoe inserts. This was done a whole lot, very common during the Depression. You put cardboard inside the shoes, it kept your foot warm, and at least kept it a little drier from that hole that's coming through the bottom. We've all worn holes into the bottom of tennis shoes, okay? But some way to get a little bit more life out of shoes, which we're gonna need in any sort of grid down scenario, and even to keep your feet warm in the winter, because it's a good insulating material, like I talked about in the first video. Number 3, this one, number 3 is better for a larger idea. How many of you heat with wood, just as an example? And where's your wood pile? Chances are your wood pile is not super close to the house, because that'd be a little awkward for a fire hazard, right? But, so like mine is about, 100, 150 feet from the house. And going out and carrying 6 or 7 logs in your arms, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, that gets a little tedious. But I'll put it in a wheelbarrow. Sure, you can do that, and wheelbarrows work great in the summer. Not so much in the winter. Okay. Piece of cardboard makes a great sled. Take a big sheet of cardboard, you know, those grommets that are in like tarps or whatever it is. You can get a little grommet maker down in a Harbor Freight for less than $10. Put a couple of grommets into a flat piece of cardboard, tie a rope to it, and now you have a sled that you can put 40, 50 logs on and pull it across the snow. You know, I mean, was an idea that I thought of because when I was kids, we used to use pieces of cardboard as sleds to go down the hill on. It was free, you know. When you're 8 years old, it's not like you got a whole lot of money to go buy stuff, and unless mom and dad got it for you, but the snow's on the hill today and mom and dad are at work. Why not use it for something practical? Number 4, this is one of my favorite ideas, and this is perfect for a box this size. Sandbags. Now, I've mentioned having sandbags before. Usually they're made of nylon or something like that, and you're stacking those outside to protect your house from incoming projectiles. Let's use it that way. I'm not talking about saving your house from flooding. I'm talking about getting shot at. But in a SHTF situation, you're probably going to want to put sandbags at least to a certain height inside the house to prevent rounds from coming through the walls. Okay. Now, granted, if you've got a brick house or concrete house, maybe this isn't needed. I have a wooden house, all right? You know, a 5.56 round goes through it like it's butter, not a big deal. And anything bigger, obviously easier. But I can take a box like this, fill it with sand. As you can see, the box is what, 6 inches wide? Okay, that's pretty good ballistics. And I can stack these on the wall. That's the nice part of the cardboard box, is they're easily stackable too. Put them up against the wall and you're great. Wouldn't necessarily want to use them outside because, again, it's cardboard and rain will not treat it very well. But inside, for ballistics protection, cardboard box is perfect. That way you can use your sandbags outside in other places that you need to set up firing positions or protection or whatever you've got, you know, rather than digging foxholes out in your front yard. Moving on to how to deal with animals, for example. Number 5, nesting boxes. If you've already got chickens, you probably already do this. In an SHTF situation, you're going to get chickens. Regardless, like me, what TVA says I can do here, if the world goes tits up, I'm going to have chickens. You need nesting boxes. Chances are there's not going to be a real good hardware store open where I can go buy 2x4s and plywood. So I can use this. I can make the box out of the cardboard. I can shred up other cardboard to make the bedding material, and I'd have somewhere for chickens to nest. And the best part about it is when the box is trashed, it's all compostable along with all the chicken manure and everything like that, and it goes straight into the garden. On the other side with animals, here's another way of using it. Open your box up and set it up as so. Stick there and poof, you've got a small animal trap. Maybe you're catching a squirrel or a rabbit or something. Put a little bit of weight on the top of it, you know, on the top edge. Pick something, tape a rock to it, so it's a little harder for the animal to move away from it. You'll flip it over, but it's a good possibility to use as trapping food and something that can be working while you're doing something else. Number 7, the other thing, human traps. If you get into a situation where you have to dig, a punji pit, you know what those are. Those you guys who were in Vietnam certainly do, okay? But cardboard is a perfect thing to cover that hole with. Throw some leaves, throw some grass clippings, some moss, something like that on there. Cardboard, as strong as it is not going to hold the weight of some 200-pound guy walking through. And even if the pit's only this deep and it's got, how to say this without getting in trouble, pointy objects in it, you're going to be okay for slowing down an enemy. Just remember where they are in that case so you don't step in it, okay? Number 7's an interesting idea. You guys have probably seen the stories on this, or certainly know porch pirates, right? You know, people that drive through neighborhoods and go steal packages that doesn't have it on this one. Maybe it was Amazon packages, or there's a box on your porch. They don't care what's in it. They're going to go steal it, right? You've also seen the stories of the people that have busted porch pirates because, oh, gee, you know what? I've got an old TV box. Let me just fill it with some of my garbage. Somebody will steal the box. It happens, and they took out the trash for you, right? But think about it in an SHTF situation. Say you've got a box that says 5.56 ammo. Put that out by your mailbox or put it out by your shed or something like that. And if a bad guy sees it, they're going to go inspect it. If you see a box on your porch, are you going to go see what it is? In an SHTF situation, it says MREs, it says green beans, whatever. They're going to go check it out. Makes for a real good decoy. Obviously, you know where they're going. You could also take it a little further if you want. You know what I mean, on how to set that up. But makes for good human traps, too. Number 9, the last two you guys probably have already figured out, but got them. Anybody priced silhouettes at the store lately? You know, when target practice, go out there. Save the cardboard boxes and make silhouettes out of them, okay? If you've got one, trace the thing out, poof, now you've got a silhouette to shoot at. You can put a picture on it or whatever. You can put a target on it. You can draw the damn thing too and save yourself a little bit of money. Finally, number 10, the one that everybody hopefully does know, a Faraday cage, even something this small, line the box with aluminum foil, seal it up. You could put radios, your phone, something like that in there. And if we have a situation where there's an EMP, that's a good way to protect some of your stuff. But I wanted to give you 10 ideas, 10 new ideas, or 10 more ideas on reasons to save a box. Something that's free, something that we all have tons of. The only thing I will say, if you are saving this, first off, make sure you break the boxes down, so you're going to have tape. Okay, it's got to put them back together in most places. But do not store the boxes in the house. Store them in a shed. Store them in the garage, something like that, because critters like cardboard, mice like to chew on it, bugs like to get underneath it. Don't store it back in the back bedroom. Because then all of a sudden what you're doing is you're giving a nice, warm, dark place for bugs. Store it outside somewhere, in an outdoor building, in the barn, you'll be fine. But make sure you got some of this on hand, because if the balloon goes up, you're gonna want a lot of it. Pinball out.